My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget.
What's going on, everyone? It's Rich Lux, and in today's video, you won't believe the drama. Look who I'm with. I love her so much.
So, y'all, I met Rich Lux at DragCon, and he told me to make a video and put that clip into it and call it Rich Lux Exposed. He said, "You'll get the views, honey." And when Rich Lux tells you to call your video Rich Lux Exposed, you call your video Rich Lux Exposed. But the only thing I have to expose about Rich Lux is that he is an absolute sweetheart. If you're a viewer of Rich, like if you watch Rich Lux, just take every sweet moment, every little window into his sweetness that you have ever witnessed on his channel, and stick them all together and distill them down into one little drop. And that was what it was like to meet him. You can just feel it radiating from him, this love, this magic, this honesty, kind of, the word that springs to mind is naivete, but I don't want to call it naivete because I actually believe that Rich Lux is extremely canny. I think that he is in his own way a comedic genius, and his own way is parody. And you can't really create parody on the level that he is doing without being extremely aware. I said this in my Rich Lux makeup tutorial last year, but I don't even consider Rich Lux to be a drama channel. You can get the tea from his channel if you're after the tea, but I consider him to be a parody of a drama channel. And in many ways, it's like a parody of a parody of. I just think it's genuinely brilliant. And I think that his presence in our YouTube beauty sphere is a much needed dose of careful irreverence. Like he's irreverent, but not to the point of dismissiveness, not to the point of hurtfulness. I really do believe that he respects the people that he talks about, the people that he spills tea about. He really understands that they are real people and that they have real feelings, and he brings a dose of humanity to the world of discussing beauty guru drama. I appreciate the way that Rich Lux handles that side of what he does, but most of all, I really, really appreciate him. I just love what he's doing. It is, to me, the pure queer magic that the world needs, and I think it's very healing. That is exactly what he was like in person, and the big news is, for all of you who have been watching me, that Rich has seen my Rich Lux makeup tutorial. He knew who I was, and when I brought it up, and he didn't recognize me right away, but as soon as I said, I have a YouTube channel and I've done he was like, "Oh yeah, you're the one with the earthy vibe." That was what he said. And I was like, yeah, that's me. I couldn't believe that he had seen that video and that he remembered it and that he knew who I was. He commented on the way that I talk, and that's kind of like the #1 feedback that I get from people. I get a lot of people commenting on the way that I talk, and I only mention that because it was clear from the way that his face lit up and the specific things that he was saying about that video of mine that he really had watched it and that it really had registered, and he had connected with me in that moment by watching that video. And that just thrilled me to no end. I had no expectations of that, and I don't know, you can imagine, right? It made my absolute year. But even more than that, I would say, to get the chance to tell Rich in person how I feel about the work that he's doing, essentially a version of what I have just told you, that was the most special. I mean, that's really meaningful. I especially am grateful that I was able to do that because he really took it to heart. I mean, he heard what I was saying and he was like, "Thank you." And we got to talk for a good 5 minutes, and he was there for it. He was present. And I know how hard that is to do, just from having worked tango festivals, for example. I know how hard it is to be in a situation where you're meeting person after person after person who knows you, and to really be in the moment with that person, one after another after another. I know how incredibly difficult that is. And I think that even for the best of us, it can be an insurmountable challenge to put that on, to really be there, to really show up for your people. And he really showed up for his people. He really did it. And it's just amazing. He's a pure gem. Rich Lux, I love you. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. This video is just gonna be a little haul because I purchased a couple things at DragCon, some things for myself and some gifts. And then I acquired a little bit of PR at DragCon actually, because there are a number of cosmetics companies there, and I connected with some brand owners, and a couple of them gave me things to try on my channel and to tell you guys about. And I'm really excited to do that in this video because they're all indie companies. They're all really small brands. You know, I love talking about independently owned little brands here on this channel and making you guys aware of them. I didn't really realize when I started this channel that that would be a way that I could contribute, that would be something that I could do kind of in this world. But now that I'm here and I'm doing it, it's something that brings me a lot of joy. So if you're on a no buy or a low buy, just let it just roll off your back. Like, this stuff is amazing. I'm really excited to be able to try it, buy it, some of it, and review it for you guys. Some of it is truly extraordinary. I'm really excited to be able to share these little brands with you, these artists who are doing amazing work. In the event that you are in the market for a thing like this and that you have the money for it, and then the money left over to live your best life now and all the way into the future. So really, if you are in savings mode right now, if you're on a strict budget, or if you're on a no buy, it's okay. Like, it's okay to not buy it right now. It's okay to not buy it ever. It's okay to not have it. You are going to be glam and amazing and dreamy in the world without any of this stuff. I know that this kind of video where I'm like talking about all this cool stuff and it's pretty much a haul, I know that that can kind of lead to this feeling like you want to spend money too and you want to get stuff too, and the fact that these are indie brands and a lot of them are women-owned brands or queer-owned brands, it like makes you feel like maybe you have a pass. It's like, well, it's ethical too. It's like super ethical and awesome. And I'm like supporting. And so it makes you feel like maybe you have a pass, a little way out of your budget, a little side road around your no buy. No, you do not. You do not. If you really need your money way more than you need this stuff, then you need your money way more than any of these brand owners need it. So do I need to say what DragCon is? Because I feel like if you've watched this far in the video, then you either know or you don't care and you're here for it either way. But I'll briefly just say it's a convention, DragCon, drag convention, and it's a drag queen convention. So it's a celebration of drag culture, kind of specific to the reality television show RuPaul's Drag Race, because it's RuPaul's DragCon. So RuPaul throws the event, and many of the stars of the event are those queens who have appeared on the reality television show RuPaul's Drag Race, of which I am a super fan. But basically it's a convention, just like Comic-Con or, you know, the literary conventions that I sometimes go to. It's a drag convention, and it was held in the convention center in downtown LA, which is extremely convenient to me because I live in downtown LA. That's what you're seeing out the window right there. And so I just went. I went for one day only. I went on a Saturday, and I went with my friend Megan. We had the best time. The first thing that we did was to go to a panel because we got there pretty much at the beginning of the day. I think the doors opened at 10:30, and then this panel was at 11. So the panel was called Judgy Judy's, and it featured the four main judges, the four main recurring judges on RuPaul's Drag Race. So Michelle Visage, Ross Matthews, and Carson Kressley are, I guess, the main three, but Todrick Hall was also on the panel. He is a recurring judge, and he's also the choreographer for many of the dance challenges. And I am a huge fan of Todrick. I love his music. I listen to it every week when I'm modeling for our photo shoots. It helps to pump me up. It helps to pump a little life into me in our early morning shoots. And I just think he's absolutely brilliant. I love the work that he's done. I love his music videos. And so it was amazing to see him. And it was amazing to see all of them, actually. They were incredible in person. And I managed to snag Todrick for a picture right after the end of that panel. So I'll insert that right here. I didn't really get to chat with him. I did briefly get to tell him how much I love his lyrics because I take that very seriously as a a poet by trade and, you know, got to smile at each other a little bit, but I didn't really get to have a meaningful conversation with him the way that I did with Rich Lux. I saw a lot of queens at DragCon, a lot of queens I love. I mean, like I saw Nina West walking by, I saw Aquaria, I saw Raja, I saw Trixie Mattel. I saw a lot of queens in person, and I didn't really have a desire to go up to them or wait in line to talk to them. I feel like it's hard to have any meaningful kind of exchange, and to me it's kind of like either you're having lunch together or let's just leave it. Like I don't feel like I really need to be like, hey, oh my god, picture. So getting a picture with Todrick was great. Like that's just a lovely thing to have, but he was the only one who I kind of was like, oh, you know, here's this little window of opportunity. I'm just gonna like sneak in and say hi real quick. For the most part, I just let the queens be there and be people that I was really excited to see in person, if from a distance. Evie Oddly, I saw Evie Oddly in person. It was pretty exciting. I feel like with Rich, it was a little bit different because we're both on YouTube and he's, you know, he's a star in his own way, and I hoped that we would have the chance to actually connect, and that proved to be true. So I was happy to wait in line to see Rich Lux. Also, I ran into Michelle Wong while I was waiting in line. It was amazing. She was getting in line to meet Rich Lux as well, and I saw on her Instagram that he also has watched her channel, so he also knew who she was when she got up there, which is just so amazing. Like, so if you can't already tell, I'm going through my experience storytime style, and I'm going to tell you about the products and items that I acquired along the way in the course of the day that we had. So Megan and I went to the panel, and then we meandered through all of the booths looking for the Lemonhead LA booth, because I knew that Lemonhead was going to be there, and I've been wanting to purchase some glitters from them for a really long time. I saved a good chunk of my budget for May for DragCon because I knew that Lemonhead LA was going to be there, and I wanted the flexibility to buy pretty much whatever I wanted at their booth. So we just wandered and wandered and wandered through all of DragCon, which is huge, you know, just meandering aisles of amazing, weird stuff. And we couldn't find the Lemonhead booth, but along the way, another booth of glitters, we did eventually find the Lemonhead booth, never fear. But along the way in this initial meandering, another booth of basically glitters and pots caught my eye, and there were a ton of them. I mean, I've never seen so much glitter for sale in one place as I saw at RuPaul's DragCon, which I was like a pig in mud. I mean, hello. So this little booth, it was in the area where like the smallest and most handmade and most indie stuff was. This little booth was called Slayfire Cosmetics. And the girl who owns it, who I believe is like 19 or something, she told me, but she is quite young, and she's launched this cosmetics brand, which right now just carries a very similar product to that of Lemonhead LA. It's like glitter pastes in little pots. I was planning to save all of my budget for Lemonhead, and I was also planning that that would be the only thing I bought for myself at DragCon. But after swatching around with the Slayfire glitters and talking to the girl, I felt two things. One, very, very impressed by the product. I swatched some colors that I was extremely impressed by and that I knew weren't the colors that I had had my eye on for my Lemonhead purchase. And I wanted to tell you guys about it. I wanted to show you guys, mostly because they perform beautifully. They're not too expensive. The small pots were $8. It's a really tiny up-and-coming indie woman-owned brand. And so I wanted to tell you about that. But also she's advertising them as being biodegradable glitter. And the question of glitter's eco-friendliness and what it even means for glitter to be biodegradable is pretty complicated. It's more complicated than you might think. And I'm not going to go into it here. I'm going to go into it in the video in which I talk about the ethics of all the companies that I purchased from in May, which will be upcoming probably middle or end of June. So keep an eye out for that. But it's of interest because I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen glitter gels or glitter pastes with advertised biodegradable glitter for sale on the market, and these ones are that. These are different from the ones from Lemonhead because they feel drier. It feels more like there's some dampness that's causing them to hold together, but it doesn't feel like a gel that has glitter suspended in it. It feels like a pot packed full of glitter with something coating the glitter. So that one's called Sully, and it is incredibly bright and iridescent and wonderful. I think of all the glitters that I purchased, this one is the brightest, arguably, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The other one that I purchased from Slayfire, I just couldn't say no to this color. It looks like a scarab beetle's wing. Wow, look at that. That's showing up really well on camera. It's a much finer glitter, so you can see it ends up looking just sort of like a solid shifting pigment, but it's glitter. When I got home from DragCon, I immediately applied this blue-green shifting one all over my eyes on top of my eye look because I wanted to see how well this slightly drier adhering formula would work. And I applied a really pretty thick layer. It was really intense. It dried down, it stuck, and I had absolutely no fallout for all of the rest of the night. And I stayed up for several hours after that. So I am very impressed by this. As far as I can tell from what I've done so far in the way of testing, it is a very, very well-performing product. I know that Sully is on the website right now, and I believe that this blue-green one is coming soon. It was being previewed at DragCon. So we walked around the whole place a bunch more, and then it was time to get in line to meet Rich Lux. As I was standing in line, I spied the Lemonhead LA booth because it was right next to the Hank and Henry booth, which is where the Rich Lux meet and greet was. So as soon as I was done chatting with Rich, I had a little moment. I let my fluttering heart calm down and start beating at a normal pace. And then I went to the Lemonhead booth. And here is what I ended up purchasing. Exactly what I expected that I would. So these are the two things that I had been eyeing online. It's White Rabbit, which is a space gem, meaning it has the bigger chunks of different sized glitter. And there are a bunch of different holographic, reflective, clear glitters in here. And then this one is Dirty Penny, which is just the pure copper space paste. So it's a slightly smaller glitter, and that's what I have all over my eyes today. That's what I used for this eye look. So underneath the green one is White Rabbit, and I don't know how well that will be picking up because it's a little hard to tell if it's in focus from here. And then on the bottom there is Dirty Penny. White Rabbit definitely has that quality where you can't really see it until it catches the light, but then when it catches the light, it's like that iridescent rainbow look, and I love those big chunky glitters in it. And then Copper Penny doesn't look as good swatched because it's just one size of copper glitter, but it performs beautifully and it's really, really good. I mean, you can see it on my eyes. That's where you can really see its powers. And I wanted to get a glitter that would be grungy. I really wanted a glitter that I could do grungy looks with, and so that was the one. When I checked out, they threw this little mini of Crystal Tokyo into my bag, complimentary, and I'm gonna swatch that one for you too. It's there on the bottom underneath of Dirty Penny. And then the other cool thing that was going on at the Lemonhead booth is that they were giving away samples of a new product that hasn't launched yet. And unfortunately, I can't remember what she said it was called. It was something jelly. It might have been space jelly because everything else is space something. But essentially, it's just a clear base that you can use to turn any glitter into a space jam or a space paste. So it's in this little pot, or they gave me one in the little pot, and it's a clear jelly, as you can see. And I don't feel like I even need to demonstrate it for you because you get the idea, but you just put a little bit of the jelly down and then you can stick any glitter to it. And they were giving away these little naked glitter packets to use to play with this. And then if you really want it to be super sturdy, you can paint some of the jelly on over top of the glitter with a little brush, and it dries down and it's just as rock solid as any of the pre-mixed glitter gels that they're selling. I told Joe when we came home, I was like, prepare yourself because I'm going to be wearing glitter every day for like the next month and a half. At this moment in my makeup life, I can't think of anything more exciting. There was a huge Creme Shop booth there. Creme Shop is, I think, a K-beauty inspired brand that's popping up at drugstores. I know that they have a rack in my local CVS. And so we looked in the Creme Shop. Megan was looking for a new brow pencil, and she bought one of the Creme Shop brow pencils. And they had like a spin the wheel thing where if you follow them on Instagram, you can spin this wheel and win something for free. So we did that, and I won this pair of 100% human hair eyelashes. When Megan was at checkout for the Creme Shop to buy her eye pencil, she grabbed a couple of sheet masks. I think they were having like a 3 for $10 deal, and they had these astrology themed sheet masks. So she got one for herself, she's a Leo, and she got a Pisces one for me and a Scorpio one for Joe. The Pisces one says compassionate, artistic, intuitive, gentle, wise, musical. That's me. And then the Scorpio one says brave, passionate, resourceful, truthful. That's Joe. So real. It's so real, Creme Shop. So we kept wandering, and then I espied something out of the corner of my little eye that I had to buy for my sister. I know. So the artist of this beautiful piece was at the booth. He is a screen print and graphic artist, and his name is Jay Morrison, and the brand is called Homo Cats. I will leave this linked down below, but it looks like it's just www.homocats.com. His designs are amazing. I mean, amazing. This one is perfect for Ellie because she has 2 little kittens, one of which is black and one of which is gray. And I mean, it's also perfect for her because it says Kittens Against Trump. So I'm going to send this to her. Her birthday's coming up, and it won't be the only thing I send her, but it's definitely a perfect addition to the package. And this reminds me to say that I am planning to talk about everything that I can uncover about the brand Lemonhead LA when I talk about the ethics of the brands from which I purchased. There have been some rumors following Lemonhead LA through the rumor mill, and I'm aware of that. I haven't done a ton of research about it yet, but I'm going to. It's part of my project, so I have to. So don't think that I'm unaware of that. Don't think that that's not on my radar, because it totally is, and more information about that is coming. So after we visited the Homo Cats booth, I got sucked into conversation with a really cool guy who owns this company that makes products with CBD in them. The booth was lovely. I was curious about the products, specifically because Joe has a really bad lower back, and we have a little tin of cannabis infused massage oil that he has been using to massage into his lower back almost every night. We're almost out of it. So I saw this booth and I saw that they had this little, the same thing, like a CBD massage balm. So I got curious, I was looking, and I started talking to the guy, and it was really interesting talking to him because he is obviously a total expert in this field. He's been making this product, he said, since the 70s. And it's only now that the world is kind of starting to catch up. So I was really glad to have a chance to ask him some questions, because this is a huge fad. You know, everyone's putting CBD in their skincare products, and to talk to someone who's been doing it since way, way before it was a fad, like way before, I thought that was pretty exciting. So I asked him some questions about why CBD is, in his opinion, effective in any way to apply topically. And basically what he said is that it is reparative. We have cannabinoid receptors in our brain. That's what CBD binds to. That's why CBD, if you take it internally, has an effect in the brain. And we also have cannabinoid receptors all over our body, in our skin, and both kinds, CB1 and CB2, have been found in the skin. So if you put CBD on your skin, according to this guy in our brief conversation, it is able to bind to those receptors that are in the skin, and it is something that the skin needs, that the skin uses, and so it can help the skin to repair itself. That was what he told me. We only had a very brief exchange, but it did help me to understand a little bit why it's a thing. From what I can tell, a little bit of online research that I've done, the jury is sort of still out. So many studies are currently being done. Many studies have been done. A lot of studies have shown that CBD does help with pain when applied topically. I like to keep an open mind, and of course Joe has had palpable pain relief from the CBD balm that we have. So I was more than happy to chat with this guy and learn a little bit about what he does, and he ended up giving me these 2 products to try and review. So one is the balm, very similar to the one that we have. Joe has used it now for 2 nights, and he loves it. He loves it. He says that it outperforms the one that we've been using, and it's partly because I think it has some tingly stuff in it. Like, I actually used it last night. I used it on my pecs, which have been really sore, and I used it on these muscles, which are always the sorest. And it does have a little bit of like an icy hot feeling after a while. And this is a lotion which I also put all over my body last night after taking a long bath. I've been getting a little bit sick, so I've been trying to get extremely good sleep and R&R. And I had just taken a bath, so I was extremely relaxed. So it's hard to tell how much of an effect this did have, but I absolutely loved the smell and the quality of the lotion going on. So it's a Lang Lang and ginger and CBD infused lotion. Obviously, I'll report back more about both of these products when we've used them more. These are brand new. This is kind of like a first impressions because I've only really had one impression of both of these products. I think it's Leaf of Life Wellness, and the website is leafoflifewellness.com. And I think that the very next booth that we visited was another booth making CBD infused stuff. And at this booth, I actually did buy something. Again, it's like a teeny tiny indie brand, and they're really passionate about it, and they make CBD bath bombs. And that's something that I've always wanted to try. So I purchased this one. It was extremely expensive. It was $16, which is a lot for a bath bomb. I immediately broke it in half. I actually kind of cut it in half with a knife when we got home. And the bath that I took last night was just with half of it. But it was very relaxing. It smells like roses. The one that I have is called Eau de Femme, and the brand is called Baignoire Urbaine. So I will definitely link them down below. And while I was there at the booth, I did meet one of the two owners of this company. Her name is Feminem. This is a picture of her. She gave me this little gift with purchase, which is a lip balm called Lit Balm. It's a CBD infused lip balm. I didn't go to DragCon with the intention of acquiring a bunch of CBD infused products. I am interested in it, and I do genuinely believe, I mean, like, this bath balm did create a preternaturally relaxing bath. I mean, it does work. It doesn't make you high at all. I hope that everyone knows that at this point, but CBD doesn't make you high. It just relaxes you and kind of takes the edge off. I'm really interested in it, and I was surprised that there were so many brands that were selling this kind of thing there. I don't know why it ended up being so much that I brought home with me, and I'm sorry I'm talking about it for so long. But this lip balm is amazing, mostly because it's jasmine scented. It's a really lovely formula, perfect in every way. It's jasmine scented, and jasmine is a flower, and it's really, really, really fresh. And it really, really smells like jasmine, but it doesn't seem weird on the lips, even though it's floral. It's lovely in the way that like a jasmine tea is lovely. I'm really impressed by this little thing, and I'm glad that they threw it in with my purchase. I think it was shortly after that Megan went home. She had to go home. She had stuff to do, and she left me to roam DragCon by myself, which is what I commenced to do. And so after she left, now I remember, I went straight to the sugar pill booth, and I was on a mission. My friend Georgia Harris, who many of you already watch on YouTube, she is a star and a gem and an absolute dear. She is on a no-buy this year. And I remember her talking ages ago about the fact that Sugar Pill was launching new eyeshadows, and that was one of the things that she would have been tempted to buy if she hadn't been on a no-buy. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the Sugar Pill booth and I'm gonna buy some of those new eyeshadow colors for Georgia and send them to her. So that was my mission. I went to the booth, and unfortunately it turned out that they've only launched one of the colors, one of the new colors. They announced them forever ago, and I was expecting that they would all be available, but there was just one available, so I got it for Georgia. It's the color Tokyo, so it's just this lovely pink that I hope she will be able to use. I hope you will be able to use it, Georgia, if you're watching this. And I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get any of the other more interesting colors, because there's like a green and a yellow, especially the yellow I really wanted to get, but they're still being formulated. I think they might have made them and then had like an issue with the formulation, and they're back in the lab reformulating them, or that's what one of the girls at the booth told me. So this is the only one that was good to go. So I got it. And then because I couldn't get any more, I decided to grab Georgia one of the new liquid lipsticks. It's called Next, and the formula is matte and sparkle. And I'm not gonna open the tube, but I will show the tube to you so you can see the color. Gosh, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but the color that it fades to there at the bottom, that's pretty much the color. So it's a very, very beautiful pale peachy nude, and it has a super subtle fine silver glitter in it. Not a big chunky rough glitter by any means. There was a girl at the booth actually wearing it, and it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. So I hope Georgia will like these two things, but if you don't, Georgia, you know, feel free to give them away to someone else and my feelings won't be hurt at all. I understand. There was an Anastasia Beverly Hills booth there, and they were selling the new Alyssa Edwards palette, which I'm not a person to buy things because they are in collaboration with someone who I love. Like, if I don't want to buy a thing, if I don't like the colors, if I don't like the formula, the product, etc., the fact that it's in collaboration with someone who's a personal icon of mine is not going to sway me even an inch in the direction of buying that thing. If I really wanted some Alyssa Edwards memorabilia, I would buy a poster or something. So I'm not tempted by that. It's not only is it not really my colors, but also I don't really like the ABH formula. So I'm totally fine with not having it, but it was fun to peep the booth and to see Alyssa there. I also spied Silky Nutmeg Ganache out of the corner of my eye. Her booth was near the Anastasia booth. My dream would have been to see Sasha Velour. I don't think Sasha was even there all weekend. She definitely wasn't there on the day that I was there. Sasha Velour is, I think, my all-time favorite queen to have competed on Drag Race. And she is, to me, the answer to the question of if you were a drag queen, which one would you be? To me, it's Sasha. She's like my Drag Race spirit animal. What were we even talking about? Okay, so after Sugar Pill, I walked around, and lo and behold, I espied the Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab perfume company booth. They had a big booth at the end of one of the rows. And as soon as I saw them, my mind like lit up with all of these memories, because I remember talking about a scent here on my channel. I can't remember which one it was. And then one of you commented, you've got to try Black Phoenix Alchemy Labs. And then a bunch of you co-signed on it. You were like, yeah. Down below, you were like, yeah, we all think you would love Black Phoenix Alchemy Labs. So at that time, I was on a no-buy, I think, still. But I clicked through and I looked at their website and I was completely blown away. So creative, so alluring, haunting, so aesthetically cohesive, lots of literary references, very poetic. Everything about the website just got my tummy tingling. And I was like, I'm gonna try Black Phoenix Alchemy Labs after my no-buy is over. But then it sort of floated out of my mind and a lot of other things came up that I wanted to buy, and I really haven't thought a lot about it since. But I saw this booth and I was like, holy moly. The best part, however, was I got into a long conversation with not the owner, because I believe the owner wasn't there at the time, but I got to talk to an incredibly lovely person named Tom. Tom is the social media person for the company. It was one of those connections where we started talking, and then we just kept talking, and it was just really good. At the end, I was kind of like, can we hang out? I mean, I didn't ask because I was shy, but that was how I felt. Anyway, Tom kindly gave me a couple of scents to wear and try and talk about on my channel. And I have only had the chance to really get into two of them. So the one that I'm wearing today is called Desire. To me, it smells a little bit floral, but it's a dusky, hearty floral. Rose, but like a dark burnt rose, sort of. But it's grounded by the other notes, which for me, it's like chocolate. I feel there's like a chocolatiness to this, but when I read the notes, it really made sense. So it says bittersweet neroli, black patchouli, and black musk. So that like blackness and darkness and burnt aspect is definitely there. And then it says it's gilded by apple, bergamot, blood red rose, teak, and vanilla. So the apple and the rose are the two notes that make this feel a little risky for me. Like it's not quite my wheelhouse, but everything else that's cushioning and surrounding those two notes is my wheelhouse. So teak, vanilla, patchouli, neroli, and musk, those are my scent dreams. That's like my scent profile. It's wearing really well on me. The cool thing about these is they're made from essential oils and they stay on the skin. Like you smell like it and you smell it all day, but it's not overwhelming and there's no spray. It's an oil, so you put it on like that. And I was thinking that it would be kind of light and that my skin would kind of eat it up. and that it wouldn't be strong enough for me, but that's actually not true at all. Like I put this on hours ago and I can still smell it just sitting here. The other scent, the one that I wore yesterday, is the small brown cat. And to me, this smelled purely of chocolate and musk, and I loved it. I loved it, and that was really all day. It was kind of like complex chocolate and musk. The description online says warm brown fur, cardamom-infused bourbon vanilla, and a touch of cedar wood. And again, all of that to me, the muskiness, the cardamom-infused bourbon vanilla, I'm sure that that's what I was smelling as chocolate. And then the touch of cedar wood is likely another thing that made it so perfect for me and so addictive for me, because I really love wood scents. That's probably like my top. Wood and vanilla are like my two favorite notes. I'm so impressed. I'm so into it. And I also, you guys know it, I love that it's a small indie woman-owned brand. And I love how dynamic they are. And I love how they are marching to the beat of their own drummer over there at that company, because it definitely felt like something super niche and something a little bit vintagey to me when I was there. Like it could have been 1990 in a way when I was standing there talking to Tom and smelling everything. It felt comforting and super grounded and kind of untainted by the way that the world has exploded with technology, if that makes sense. There's just something really special about it to me. And the last booth that I visited is it's so amazing. Like you guys, it's so amazing. So I was walking along in DragCon and I saw these beautiful big black and white photographs of RuPaul. And I was just like, The booth was called John Simone Photography. And John Simone was there at the booth, the photographer. And it turned out to be photographs of RuPaul and other kind of nightlife celebrities from the 70s. So here's the one that I purchased. So that's RuPaul, a young Ru, and I had him sign the back. For me, as a lover of RuPaul, I mean, RuPaul is basically my personal shaman. This was well worth the $10, and it's the kind of thing that I've kind of been looking for. Like, I don't really have any, I have a pearl print, the drag queen Pearl. I have a print of Bob the drag queen, but I don't have any RuPaul art, and to be able to buy it from the actual photographer who was actually there in the 70s is really cool. His work is only available online if you email him. So you go to his website and it's kind of an archive, and then you can get any of the pictures printed as photos. And I assume that you could buy these cardboard prints like the one that I bought for $10, but you have to email him. He doesn't currently have a shop where you can just add it to your cart and buy it. But I desperately want him to get one because this is iconic work. My dearest hope for this artist is that he makes much of this work available to purchase more easily, like either via Etsy or via a standalone web shop or something. So he ended up giving me some of these collage cards that he had made, so you can kind of get an idea of what all of his work is like. All right, y'all, that is it. Gosh, this video ended up taking so much longer than I thought that it would. As always with things like this, I'm like, I'm just gonna go through and tell them about it. And then when it's me, tell them about it always ends up being talk for hours and hours about everything you've ever felt in your heart. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself right now so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.